Hello everybody, my name is Karryshh and welcome back to another recap video. This time it's a really good, creepy Japanese horror, ghost theater, or as I like to call it, Japanese Annabelle. The story follows a cursed doll that is causing havoc in a theater. It is a good one and I'd recommend to watch this one on my Telegram. But above all that, if you're new to my channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Also follow me on Instagram. All the support from your side is completely free and it basically helps me out a lot. So with that said, sit back and relax as I recap Ghost Theater, Japanese horror. So the story starts on this creepy evil night. We see an evil doll kissing a girl named Saori, and then boom, Saori dies. Her sister Maki walks into the room, sees Saori's dead body and starts screaming. But right then, the evil doll starts moving and slowly heads towards Maki. Outside the house, their father shows up. He rushes in yelling, and he was completely in shock to see both of his daughters dead. He grabs the doll, clearly knowing there's something dark about it, and slams it down on a counter. Then he picks up a hammer and he was ready to destroy the doll, but when it comes down to it, he cannot do it. He breaks down crying. Maybe the doll meant something to him. Still, he pulls himself together and smashes it to pieces. He pours gasoline all over it, but just before he can burn the doll, the police storms in and arrests the guy. He keeps yelling in the end that his doll unalived the daughters and not him, but no one believed him. Now the scene jumps ahead 20 years. A body is found near a river bank, and the weird thing, it looks just like a doll. The police are super confused. This was the third death in the city, but then it was revealed that it's all just a movie shoot. The director yells cut and the scene wraps up. The body is actually an actress named Sarah Mizuki. Now Sarah wanted to be a huge star, but she always got stuck with small roles. And honestly, she was super talented. She could even remember other actors' line easily. Anyway, after the shoot, she goes to meet her agent. Sarah had been with this agency for 5 years now and still hadn't landed a proper role. That day, the agent kinda reveals the reason without directly saying it. She shows Sarah a picture of a bikini-clad actress. Basically, the message was, in this industry, the ones who show more skin make it further. But Sarah wasn't that type of girl. She believed in her talent. Then the agent hands her a flyer for a theater audition. Apparently, a big actress named Shinohara was also moving into theater, which kind of inspires Sarah, so she decides to give it a shot. Now, at the audition, there are a bunch of girls waiting. Sarah ends up sitting next to a cheerful girl named Kaori, who immediately becomes her friend. Then the show's director Gota walks in and explains the story. It's about a queen named Elizabeth who was obsessed with her beauty, so obsessed in fact that she unalived her own daughters, drank their blood and even bathed in that blood to stay beautiful. Elizabeth is the lead role and that's exactly the one Sarah wants. Then the audition begins and Shinohara, the famous actress, goes up to audition for the role of Elizabeth and Sarah plays her daughter in the scene. But in the middle of the audition, Shinohara forgets her lines. The director gets frustrated, but Sarah tries to cover for her, stepping in a little to help. However, Shinohara doesn't like that at all, and after the audition, she straight up tells Sarah to stay out of her way. That same day, two people from the theater crew head to a doll shop to find a doll they need for the play. While browsing, a girl named Erika comes across the head of the same evil doll from the beginning of the movie, and for some reason, she feels drawn to it. In the end, the team ends up picking the exact same doll's head. Now the scene shifts to Sarah, and that night she gets home and receives a call from her agent. The agent tells her that she got the role of Elizabeth's daughter in the theater show and also that Shinohara has been cast as Elizabeth. Now it stings a little for Sarah, especially since Shinohara forgot her lines during the audition, yet she landed the big role. The next day, Sarah meets Kaori again and Kaori has gotten a small part in the play as well. The thing was, Sarah had already memorized every single line from every character. She was just so much talented. Now the two girls walk into the theater happy and excited. Then we see a theater worker in the storage room. He was cleaning up when he finds Erica, the same girl who brought the doll's head. And Erica was creepily repeating one thing over and over again. Give it to me. Give it to me. The worker snaps her out of it and takes her away. But now the doll is officially in the theater, meaning it's about to stir up some chaos. After this, rehearsal begins and the doll is brought on stage. The doll now has a proper body attached and all the actors are doing their scenes. But during one of them, Shinohara forgets her line again. This time, Sarah quietly helps her out by whispering the line, but the director notices that and stops everything. Shinohara ends up getting embarrassed in front of everyone and the director calls it a day, scolding Shinohara before walking off. Then afterward, backstage, Shinohara lashes out at Sarah, telling her not to interfere in her work again. She even hands Sarah her costume and asks her to get it stitched. Sarah obviously feels humiliated, but Karryshh stands by her and comforts her. Then while on her way to get the costume fixed, Sarah sees Shinohara getting into the director's car, and that's when she realizes how Shinohara really got the lead role. She was actually dating the director. Now after seeing all that, obviously Sarah's hearts break cause she was super talented. Now Sarah heads up to the stage and starts acting out Elizabeth's part. She was insanely good, and a guy named Izumi, who's in charge of handling the evil doll for the show, sees her. He compliments her on her performance, and that's when we learn that Izumi was the one who actually built the new body for the doll. He takes Sarah to the storeroom where the doll is kept, and there she runs into Erica and hands her Shinohara's torn costume to get it stitched. But Erica seems a little freaked out, clearly scared of that cursed doll. Then later that night, Erica's alone and she was stitching Shinohara's costume. That evil doll was sitting right across from her, and after a while she gets tired and dozes off. When she wakes up, the doll is now behind her. It starts moving in this creepy way and says, "Please give it to me. Please give it to me," over and over again, scaring Erica out of her mind. Then the next day, Sarah and Karryshh arrive at the theater and find the cops already there. They find out Erica's dead, and two detectives are now going to check her body. When they see her body, they were completely shocked. Erica's body had turned pale white. All her blood had been drained from her body, and the detectives couldn't figure out what kind of killer could have done something like that. Now the detectives consider shutting down the theater, but the director shows up and flat out tells them he's not stopping the show, especially with the performance date coming up soon. Then rehearsal begin again, and during the scene, Elizabeth cuts off the doll's head, and the moment the head hits the ground, the doll starts moving his eyes and looks towards Shinohara. Obviously, she gets spooked and freezes in terror, unable to say her lines, and the director assumes she forgot him again. The director stops the practice and Shinohara tries to explain what she saw, but no one believes her. Furious, the director says that in the next rehearsal, Sarah will play Elizabeth since she knows all the lines. And hearing that, Shinohara is absolutely fuming. Then after rehearsal, she has a full-on meltdown. She yells, kicks her agent out and breaks down crying, but just then, something stirs behind her. When she goes to check, the evil doll suddenly appears. However, the moment she sees it, something happens to her, like she's hypnotized now. She sits down and starts repeating one thing over and over again. Give it to me. Give it to me. And then suddenly, she cuts her hand on a piece of broken glass and snaps out of that trance. Then realizing what's happening, she runs for her life. The doll chases after her through every hallway and corners her in the end at the rooftop, where it was too late cause Shinohara falls off from the building. Shinohara falls right in front of Sarah, who's then frozen in shock, and when Sarah looks up, she sees the doll standing on the rooftop. Then in the next scene, Sarah is called by the detectives for questioning. She tells them about the doll, and now she is fully convinced that the doll is cursed, but the detectives don't really understand what she's saying since she's still in shock. They end up sending her home, but instead of going home, Sarah sneaks into the theater storeroom to check on the doll. She stares at it, and its eyes starts glowing, putting her her in a trance. Sarah leaves in and she was about to kiss the doll, but just then, Izumi shows up and snaps her out of it. Now as Sarah turns to leave, Izumi stops her and admits that there might be something off about this doll. He had noticed how human-like its face was, and even he was getting a strange feeling from it lately. Sarah says that maybe the doll is dangerous, but they both brush it off for the time being. Then later, director holds a meeting with the cast and officially gives the Elizabeth role to Sarah, but instead of being excited about it, she feels uneasy because now she has to work with that doll. Here, Karryshh acts happy for her friend, but deep down she was jealous. She also wanted to play Elizabeth. Then that night, director makes Sarah rehearse Elizabeth's lines over and over until she gets them just right. Then as the director is about to leave, he starts touching Sarah inappropriately. That's when Sarah realizes, just like with Shinohara, the director now wants something physical from her as well. But Sarah isn't that kind of girl, and that's why she pushes the director away and runs out. Then the next day, rehearsal resumes, but as soon as Sarah is about to do the scene where she cuts the doll's neck, the doll stares at her and Sarah screams in terror. Panicking, she still cuts the doll's head, but the scene falls apart. The director gets furious since he was already pissed at her, and the director storms onto stage and yells at her. But in this scene, the doll's face gets a crack. Then afterward, Izumi fixes the doll's face while Sarah cries beside him. She tells him how disturbed she feels around the director, but Izumi comforts her. He tells her that not everyone in this world is a good person, and that's why she shouldn't let the director mess with her mind. Then Izumi leaves for a while to grab something, but then suddenly blood starts oozing out from the doll's head. Sarah was horrified, and suddenly she falls into a trance again, drawn toward the doll like before. However, this time when she touches the doll, she gets a vision. In this vision, she sees Saori and Maki, the two sisters who were murdered at the beginning of the film. Then suddenly, Sarah finds herself at the sisters' home, where their father is on the phone, talking about someone's funeral. Next, she sees the cursed doll lying inside a coffin, as if someone was preparing to bury it. But then, the doll stands up, and Sarah snaps out of the vision. Now back to her senses, she was terrified, but right behind her, the doll's body starts moving toward her. Sarah screams and runs away, calling the other girls for help. But when everyone arrives, the doll is back to normal. Confused and panicked, Sarah keeps yelling. But then the director shows up, and since he was already holding a grudge against Sarah, he asks the group of actresses that who wants to play Elizabeth now. And that's when Karryshh betrays Sarah and steps forward, saying that she wants to play Elizabeth. Here, Karryshh is given the role of Elizabeth, and in a fit of rage, Sarah grabs the prop sword and charges at the doll, ready to destroy the head. But the theater crew stops her just in time, but she keeps screaming that the doll is cursed and this theater show must come to an end. However, no one believed Sarah and she was thrown out of the theater. Now, a few days later, Sarah is at home watching TV, feeling down. The theater rehearsal are being shown on the news. That's when Sarah gets a call from Izumi, who asks her to meet her at the park. The two meet, and Izumi had been doing some research and found something about the doll. He discovered that 20 years ago, there was a doll maker named Kojima, whose two daughters died under mysterious circumstances. Kojima had blamed the doll for their deaths, and apparently Kojima was still alive, and now Izumi wanted to meet him, and that's why he and Sarah set out on a trip. Then after traveling all day, they finally reach Kojima's house. At first, Kojima doesn't want to talk, but after a while, he agrees and invites them inside. He tells them that the doll did in fact kill his daughters, but there was a story behind. Kojima actually had 3 daughters in total, not 2. Now you see, his oldest daughter looked exactly like the cursed doll. Kojima explains that his eldest daughter died in a horrific car accident on a rainy night. Then then it kept on raining for a whole week after her death. Cops took 3 total weeks to even recover her body, and when they found the body, it was torn to pieces. Seeing his daughter like that broke him, and before her funeral, Kojima crafted a doll that looked just like her, and then he placed whatever was left of her body inside the doll, hoping she could find peace. But instead, something else happened. The doll came to life, and his daughter's spirit inside it killed her 2 younger sisters. Kojima says he never really understood why his daughter turned into something evil, but he believes it might be because she was obsessed with her own beauty. Now, after her face was ruined in the accident, she couldn't bear it. Maybe that's why she steals the beauty of others, draining it from their bodies and blood, just like Elizabeth in the play, who becomes beautiful after killing her daughters and drinking their blood. Izumi asks if there's any way to stop the doll, but Kojima gets angry. He says that whatever that thing is now, it's not his daughter anymore. It's a cursed being that cannot be stopped. Then the scene cuts back to the theater, and it's finally showtime, and everyone's busy getting ready. Now, in the middle of this chaos, Sarah calls the director, telling him that the doll is dangerous and something terrible will happen, but the director just hangs up on her. That's when Sarah finds the detective's number in her purse, and she thinks that maybe she should call the police before it's too late. After a while, the audience fills the theater seats, and the show finally begins. Everything goes smoothly for a long time. Elizabeth's daughter is captured, and then Elizabeth appears and kills her daughter, bathing in her blood. Meanwhile, Izumi and Sarah are rushing to the theater. On stage, in one scene, Karryshh steps forward to slit the cursed doll's throat, but just before she does, the doll locks eyes with her, and Karryshh falls under its spell. She starts leaning in, about to kiss the doll, but right before she does, Sarah bursts in screaming, and she runs onto the stage to pull Karryshh away. Sarah saves Karryshh, but now the entire audience and the director are staring at her like she just ruined the entire show. The audience is told to leave, and everyone starts blaming Sarah, especially Karryshh, because her entire career depended on that performance. Meanwhile, in the background, Izumi sneaks into the storeroom and steals the cursed doll. He throws it to the ground, pours gasoline all over it, and looks around for a matchstick. But before he can light the fire, the doll suddenly stands up and grabs him. Now we cut to a security guard who finds Izumi unconscious. He had passed out from fear, which was good for him because he didn't die. The guard tries to wake him up, but the doll attacks the guard right then and there. Now back in the lobby, the director is talking to the cops that Sarah had called, but suddenly the entire theater's light starts flickering. One of the detectives goes to check what's happening, but out of nowhere, a dead officer's body drops right in front of him. It shocks everyone, and the detective quickly tries to call for backup, but the evil doll appears. It grabs one of the actresses, kisses her right in front of everyone, and drains her blood while everyone watches in horror. As the actress dies, people finally start believing everything Sarah said. Chaos erupts, and some girls faint from fear before they can even run. The doll grabs another girl, but the 2 detectives manage to push it away. Still, in the very next moment, the creepy doll stands back up. Its body starts twisting in bizarre ways, and then it unalives the 2 detectives and the girl. Now, after all this, screams echo throughout the entire theater as the doll starts killing everyone one by one. Sarah runs for her life, seeing bodies all over the place. She hides under the staircase, and that's where Izumi finds her. He survived because he fell unconscious. Now he grabs Sarah and they run toward the exit. On the way, they enter the CCTV room, and on one of the monitors, Sarah sees Karryshh hiding behind the staircase, but the cursed doll is heading right toward her. To save Karryshh, Sarah makes an announcement through the mic, warning her to run. Karryshh hears it and tries to run but was too late. The doll catches her. It starts kissing her and drains her blood. But as she was dying, Karryshh apologizes to Sarah for not believing her. And right after Karryshh dies, something strange happens. The doll's face cracks open, and inside it, we see the corpse of Kojima's daughter, who was now coming back to life. alive, which means the doll has been killing people to become human again. Sarah and Izumi watch everything from the CCTV room, and then Izumi grabs her and they run again. On the way, they came across the director who's begging for help, but the doll kills him too. Then it shows up in front of Sarah and Izumi, and she was ready to annihilate them. The two of them run for their lives and end up back on the stage, and that's when the doll corners them. Here we finally find out that why the doll says give it to me, give it to me. She says that cause she's demanding the beauty of everyone else. The doll now demands the beauty of Sarah, but Izumi picks up an axe and strikes the doll, but it doesn't even flinch. The doll grabs Izumi and slams him to the ground and then starts moving towards Sarah, but right at the last second, Sarah locks herself into a cage. The doll starts circling the cage in a creepy, unsettling way, and Izumi manages to pull a rope and lift that cage up into the air, trapping Sarah and keeping the doll out of reach. However, suddenly the doll turns and spots Izumi, but before the doll can attack him, Sarah jumps out of the cage and lands right on top of the doll. Sarah quickly tries to run, but the doll grabs her ankles and starts crawling toward her. Izumi rushes over and drops the cage onto the doll, and finally the doll is pinned down. Then, in a rage, Sarah grabs a weapon and brutally stabs the doll right in the face, which splatters its blood all over the place, and the doll stops moving. The theater lights come back on and Sarah passes out in fear. However, after this night, everything finally went back to normal. We cut to a scene 1 year later, and Sarah is now a director herself, treating all her actors with fairness. She's working on a new movie and has become pretty famous. The shoot is taking place near a river, but that day, the doll's severe head floats up in the water, and Sarah catches a sight of it, which means the curse isn't over yet. But what will Sarah do next? We don't know, because that's where the movie ends and it doesn't have another part. So this was the recap video of the movie Ghost Theater, and I hope you have liked this video. If you have, then please subscribe the channel, give this video a thumbs up. I really need your support to grow further. If you wanna watch this movie, there's a link to my Telegram channel in the description box. If that link does not work, just go to Telegram and put my channel's name in the search bar. How and when you can find it on Telegram will be revealed on the channel, so go join that. I'm mostly active on Insta, so you can follow me there as well. And look into my other channel where we discuss about the mysteries of the world. All the links are in the description box. For now, I see you all in the next one. Till then, stay awake, because they always see you.